I'm really excited. Lana, are you excited?
So excited.
But we're kind of tired.
We're exhausted. My eyes are red.
My eyes are red because it is the last day of Comic-Con, and we are very excited but very sad.
So I mean, how is that? It's like, and everybody goes through this. If you're a regular at Comic-Con, then you know what I'm talking about. Just the high and the anticipation. We were counting down days. If you listen to the podcast, you heard us just completely wig out and scream and just be like, ah!
Yes.
And so, but this is the downside. The downside is that after we've had our goodbye with all of our friends and our little Comic-Con crew, little shout out to them, it's time to say goodbye. And then here comes the down.
For now. So, I don't even know where to begin. We're gonna get into it, but we gotta start it.
Yes.
First we gotta start with the new segment of foreign language of the week. So, Lana, what episode is this, Lana?
This is.
I just put you on the spot a little bit.
This is episode 9.
Well, that's English.
No, but I have to tell them what I'm going to translate. So this is episode 9. 9 being nueve.
Is it nueve?
It's nueve en español. I know español. I know colors. I'm
trying to think of...
Verde?
That's not 9, though.
But it's green. I was just trying to expand upon the form. We're teaching. We're teaching people.
I can't even
Azul?
Look at you. I can't even...
You know, oh my gosh. Do you know what Azul reminds me of? Okay, remember in Ghostbusters 2?
I don't know where she's going with that. I'm so sorry.
In Ghostbusters 2, when Sigourney Weaver was taken over by one of the monsters, and then it was, I think her name was Zool or something like that. It was Zool? Yeah.
Yep.
And it was pretty awesome. And I don't know, Azul sounds like Zool. I think it was Zool. That was like the best ones, the best part. So, it was, you know what? As I'm thinking about it, I do believe, was it the first or the second one?
I can't remember.
Was it the first one? Hey there! Guess what, you guys? Guess what? We didn't tell you because it's a surprise. We have somebody very near and dear to us. Near, because she's right here. You got that?
We're in a hotel room. We're recording our podcast like just in the raw footage because we got to get this because people have flights to catch in the morning. We got to get out of here. We got trains to catch. But Amtrak. Southwest. But we have a really good friend of ours who's actually, what do we call her? The VP of Social Integration.
She is the VP of Social Integration.
For Blerds on Nerds. And her name is
her working title.
Her name is
What's
Kimmy
her name?
Kim. So introduce yourself.
I'm Kimmy Kim. I don't... Hashtag it.
Hashtag Kimmy Kim.
Hashtag Kimmy, that's KIMMY. Double M I or Y?
We'll go with I.
This
it's
one
KIMMI.
KIM. That would be hashtag Kimmy Kim. Thank you.
Well,
tweet it, live it, love it.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, just give us like a little 1 minute. Like, who are you? You don't have to go into detail. We don't need your social security number. We have it, but they don't need to know it. So tell us a little about yourself, Kimmy.
Well, I am originally from Houston, grew up in New Jersey, and now I live in LA. And I'm a big comic, video game, movie geek, which is why I love this podcast.
And I'm the only one that's not from LA, by the way.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm not from LA.
I'm not from LA.
I live in here. I don't live here. I don't.
Right. What's the loot?
Yep. Cali.
Midwest.
Going up to W. Okay. Enough of the gang talk.
Going up NW. Enough. So she will be, as we had said, she is we gave her this title today. It's a working title, but I like it. I think we should keep it.
It's awesome.
She's the VP of Social Integration. So she is the brains that is behind the Facebook page. She does a lot of the updates for us.
She's had her hands in a lot of everything. Like, just a lot of technical information for us. She does research for us. Very awesome. Just super, super helpful.
We're the voice of the show.
Aw, thank you.
So she's been a very integral part. So she will be.
She
is. So she's had a very, very thorough, as just all of us have. She's had a very, very thorough Comic-Con week. So we'll be giving you a lot of. We'll be talking to her a lot, and she'll be giving you a lot of feedback on her post Comic-Con thoughts, coverage, what she thought about this con versus other cons. This is your 4th year, right?
It's my 4th year.
Yeah, so she'll be giving us some, what she liked, what she didn't like. Will she come back next year? We don't know. Will we come back next year? We don't know. So let's get right into it. So, as Lana and I love to do, we have our blast from the past. Lana, do you wanna pull us in with that?
Blast from the past.
Let's see. We thought about this a second ago.
We sure did.
So our blast from the past. What is it? Our blast from the past is what cosplay, which is short for costume play.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to say great outfit. I made the mistake of saying
great outfit.
I made the mistake of saying great costume to someone, and they didn't get mad. But I was like, I'm sorry, great cosplay. It's just you call it cosplay.
There's a language. There's a language that we know because I have to give it up to these cosplayers. They take what they do very, very seriously.
Very.
I have mad respect for them. It's especially it's a little bit easier to go buy a mask, but when you make one, or when you're shopping all over because you're cosplaying Doctor Who and you've searched the entire universe for that vest that fits that time period, I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of effort, it's a lot of research, so kudos to all the cosplayers.
Kim was one of the cosplayers for speaking of Doctor Who, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So the blast in the past is what cosplay this week or past week during Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con 2013, gave you that warm memory of your childhood or something in your past that was like, okay, this is pretty awesome. So for me, and it could be like a bad feeling or a bad memory or like a good memory, but for me, it was preview night and we're in line. And the doors open at 5:30ish or whatever, but it was a little after 5, and people started screaming. And I look over, it's packed. And I look over, and for the Nickelodeon, I don't want to call it, but when it's that huge, it's not a booth. It's just
their
layout display, huge display. Nickelodeon is one of the huge displays on the floor at Exhibit Hall. Before all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles walked in, and they were all like blind because their costumes were so detailed that they couldn't see, I guess, directly. So they had people, like each turtle had someone with them that was like holding their hand and telling them where to go. And I just remember looking, I'm like, man, like that detail, like that is so awesome. Like I loved it, and it reminded me of when I used to watch TMNT. TMNT as a child, and just how cool it was. I'm a huge Michelangelo fan. I loved everything about him. I loved his silliness. I loved his attitude. I loved how fun he was. He was the true fun person of the group versus Leonardo was like the serious guy. Raphael was the angry guy.
Raphael's the bomb.
Raphael, that's you. You will be Raphael. You will be Raphael.
I take that as a compliment.
Okay, that's fair. And who's the fourth one? I can think. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello. Donatello was cool. I just didn't like his stick. I didn't like that staff. I was like, it was just kind of like it would break so easily. Everyone else had like metal objects or metal weapons, and he had like that wooden staff. Wasn't it wooden?
I think so. He was kind of boring.
He was just really boring, but that was a nostalgia for me. So, Lana, for you, what was a memory for you on the floor?
Well, as far as what I saw, one thing that was a memory for me, and it wasn't like a clean memory because it was actually a mashup, but I saw somebody cosplaying Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
But here's the twist, and this is why I say it's not a clean memory. He mashed Homer Simpson. I might have to actually tweet that picture out. It was kind of funny.
Did you take a picture?
I took a picture of it. It was pretty crazy, but he's got the Homer Simpson head, Vegeta hair, and then the Saiyan uniform. So that was just it was kind of dope. It was very different. And then I also saw several variations of Storm. I gotta say, I saw more black women cosplaying this year than I have in previous years. There was kind of a presence there, and I saw a few Storms in all of her different stages. Some of them had the longer hair. I took a picture, and I don't know, did I don't know if I texted you.
You did.
Today
we exchanged pictures, actually.
Well, no, this is a new one. I
okay.
got a Storm in a full white mohawk.
Like legit. Because remember the one I sent you, because
I took it today and I actually chased her down and I was like, wait a minute. I said, I need this picture.
I honestly, Lana, I completely agree. There is, I remember, and I haven't been multiple years, but last year I didn't notice a lot of African American or black visitors or conners in general, let alone cosplay. And this year I saw a huge jump in the populace, and which I thought was really cool.
Definitely.
And it was also really cool to see. I never saw Storm cosplay last year, and I saw the same. We exchanged, actually, Lana and I exchanged pictures of the same two people that were dressed as Storm and Black Panther. Black Panther kept his costume consistent.
Yes.
But the female, she had the traditional Storm, which just has like the wings, and then she has the Neo Storm, which is like that punk rock Storm as Lana described, with the mohawk. And it was really cool. It was awesome. And then I saw another one. You haven't seen me that one yet, but I saw another one that was actually at Nerd HQ, and she was the one that had the. Remember, you saw her. She had the contacts.
I saw her. She had the contacts. But
I remember talking to her. She was like, I can't see like past 5 feet.
Oh no!
I saw her too.
But she had the traditional,
like white.
Yeah,
She
had the traditional wings on, or the traditional wings that latch to Storm's
like her wrist. Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. I hope we see more cosplay, especially from the African American or Black populace.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was. I'm glad you brought that up. That was really, really cool.
And we'll touch a little bit more on that later, because I went to a panel that I'll talk about in a little bit that kind of relates to that.
Yeah.
So Blast from the Past.
Well, don't forget
Oh,
sorry, Kim.
Sorry, boss.
No, and this is kind of. I'm straying a little bit here because it wasn't technically cosplay. It was actually this big figure of E.T. up in the Geek and Sundry room. And look,
nice.
y'all, y'all gonna make fun of me, but my father loved E.T. and he made me watch it, and I saw how enthusiastic he was about it. So I pretended like I liked E.T. and they bought me all kinds of E.T. stuff, and there was this blow-up E.T. doll that scared the bejesus out of me. Every single night, it would just sit there and bobble, and I would sit there and stare at it, and I would have to throw a jacket over it before I could sleep every night, and every time I see E.T., that's what it reminds me of. And I want to scream.
I love it.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the reason
that is priceless.
The reason before I got into Blast in the Past, and I said it could be dark or it could be good or bad, was because Kim had let it slip. Not let it slip, but she told us her Blast in the Past, and I was like, wow, like that is something. I love it. That's kind of dark because everyone thinks of E.T. like in this positive light.
He's got a glowing finger.
He's got a glowing finger.
He's creepy. He's creepy.
He's a little. He looks like a bunch of stacked pancakes.
He's creepy, and his neck goes up.
He looks like a trimmed stacked pancakes.
Stop it.
Elliot.
Stop it.
E.T. I'm gonna watch that movie when I get home.
No. I'll never watch it again.
We should watch it together.
No, his neck goes up and he's
Kim,
like,
we should watch it together.
I can't do it.
We
Even
should
that
watch
wig.
it.
Oh God,
Elliot,
I'm gonna start. Look, you're gonna make me cry.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
we don't. I already made her close closet one time. We were doing web chat.
Okay, well we'll move on. So let's get to the meat and potatoes because this is Sunday. Or we're recording this now Sunday at the end of Comic-Con, and we want to get into the juicy bits of it. So let's go back to Wednesday. So as you know, Comic-Con is it's Thursday through Sunday with preview night on Wednesday. And preview night is just I guess the way I see it is like they have the exhibit hall floor, which opens as the preview night, but there's a lot of exclusives you can get that day that you may not be able to get the next day, or Thursday, or the actual days the con is open. There's also upstairs, they have they preview shows or pilots for TV shows, like Almost Human and a new show on Fox. I don't know if they previewed anything else that night, but that was one of the big previews.
But the one good thing about preview night is that even though... Oh, the originals.
They did the originals? Okay. Yeah. Which is the spinoff of Vampire Diaries. Which I love Vampire Diaries. I shouldn't say that, but...
It's okay.
I do too. I love Vampire Diaries.
We keep it real. We like what
forever.
we like.
Stefan.
Thank you.
Stefan and Klaus.
Guess what? Lana does not watch Vampire Diaries, although...
You should.
You
gotta be Team Klaus. You gotta be Team Klaus.
Who what?
Team Klaus.
Ian. summer home.
Yeah, and one day I'll know who you're talking about. So
I just gave Kim a punchline because she's team Damon.
But one good thing about these panels is that even though they have them on preview night, they do replay them later on during the week. But this way, if you get preview night and there's something you really want to see, it's not going to interfere with the rest of your con schedule.
Right.
So back in the day, I feel like they've... Preview night is so crowded at this point. I mean, it's worth it to get your badge and get it out the way and stuff like that. But my goodness, I couldn't even walk in there.
Well, remember what we heard today is that because we had noticed on preview night. Okay, so the three of us and multiple of the friends of ours, we the day that the tickets. So this history. Last year after Comic-Con 2013, 8 of us got on a conference call during the sale of the badges, and we got our badges. And I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought, but we got our badges, but the way we did it was we kind of camped out, and like as soon as it happened, we had multiple computers, and we got it done. So we earned, I'm using that in quotations, but we earned our badges. We really did.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And
team effort.
Preview night is the shortest list of badges. I mean, it's not the equal amount compared to Thursday through Sunday. It usually goes all 4 days plus preview night goes first. Then, obviously, 4 days goes next. Then followed by Friday and Saturday are the third most popular. And then Thursday is the fourth most popular. Then Sunday always goes last. It always sells out last as individual tickets. Well, this year, and this is my first preview night, but from Kim and from Lana and from other friends of ours, people were saying, and I don't say complaining, but people were noticing that it was a lot more people on the preview floor.
So many more people.
And
a lot.
And we started noticing like stickers. So, you have a badge, but we were noticing a sticker that said, it was an orange sticker and it said preview night. And we're like, where is that coming from?
Like, why?
And then we learned that Kim, did you tell me this? Like a corporation bought... I should say a corporation.
Yeah, please break down.
Break that down.
Yeah, so I guess a corporation, like, they met some quota for a quarter, so they rewarded all their employees with preview night. So they didn't have a badge, but they had preview night, so they could go in that Wednesday night, look around and buy stuff and mess things up for everybody else. Oh, do I sound bitter? I'm sorry.
No, we have reason to be bitter, and I'm just going to say what happened.
Oh, yeah.
So we definitely have reason to be bitter, and it's because, we like exclusives, we like collectibles. I mean, I have some really good friends, so I was able to actually get what I wanted, but it wasn't an easy road. So... we're driving in early. We get there early.
Before 10 a.m.
Wednesday. Yeah, before 10 on Wednesday. We have some friends. Everybody, comes in. You get in line with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
They say no cutting, but let's keep it real. That's what everybody does.
We do not condone cutting or jumping in line. It's just that, some people...
And there's a way to do it.
What's the rule?
You're not gonna... It's like, technically, you don't cut in line... But you have to be respectful about it. I mean, if you have people that have camped out overnight for something, you're not going to bring 10 of your friends. You need to show your face. You need to put in the work. You need to stay the hours. People need to see you.
I would say one person, like if it's you camping out and then one person shows up like in the morning, I think that's okay. I've heard that that's like the unwritten rule that can happen. Yeah, but if you show up with 5 people, that's really not cool. I mean, we some of us, we do it in shifts, and so the people around us recognize everybody is the same people coming in and out, and we're taking turns when we go shower and do whatever. But so we had a couple of our friends in line, and so we were able to get in with them, and we did the work. We were there for hours. It's not like they were in line for a couple of hours, but we stayed with them for hours. So it's not like we dipped and then came back right when it was time to go in. So we were the first, 50 or so people in line. Yeah. The first 50 people in line. We were all going to Hasbro. And tell them about Hasbro. Like, tell them the story of Hasbro, like the history of Hasbro.
So we were all going to Hasbro. We went down, and the first thing I noticed is that was, why is the convention floor so crowded? We got down there, and Matt, who was able to get in with a friend because of
disability issues.
Yeah,
I was the attendee for a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Well, first tell your perspective.
And then we'll say what happened.
Because we did have two different perspectives.
And so Matt calls me, and he's like, "We're in," and that's what we kind of expect when you're helping somebody with disabilities. Sometimes they're allowed in first. That is not a problem. That is perfectly fine.
the floor opened officially was supposed to open at 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. We got in at 5:49.
Yeah, and like I said, those with disabilities, by all means, it's crazy in there, and a lot of people are inconsiderate, especially with the attendees with wheelchairs. I think they should go in first. So Matt, being a tenant, he was able to call, and he said, it's crazy down here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean it's crowded in there? So everybody who's up front who waited for hours, they're looking at me, kind of ear hustling a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I just let them hear the whole conversation. And I was like, it's crowded. Hasbro is packed. What are you talking about? And so people are starting to look a little bit panicked because the people in the front line have been there since 6 o'clock in the morning. They had literally waited for 12 hours. Right. I mean, that's how hard it is to get these collectibles. And some people may think it's silly, but your passion is what it is. So, right. So we get in there and it is packed. Mm-hmm. It's crowded. And we're like, where did these people come from? So us and a few of our friends, we go straight over to Hasbro. Now, mind you, it's about, 6:15?
Probably before
5 after 6?
Yeah, it has to be like 5 after.
As soon as they open, we were in the front of the line. Hasbro gives out tickets to buy their merchandise. And the line was closed.
Tickets were sold out for the day. Tickets were gone for the day.
So they had to have security come over. There were so many of us that had waited for so many hours. The crowd got pretty irate, and a friend of ours asked security. He was like, how is this possible? We were the first group of 25 in line. How is this possible?
Right.
How are the tickets gone? I don't understand. Where did these people come from? And so, of course, security had no answers. They didn't have any answers that they were willing to share. And I'm
gonna keep my, because the security is very outsourced for Comic-Con, which makes sense. I mean, you're not gonna bring your own security, but it's very,
they have more training though.
Yeah, they are very outsourced. Like they started that day. It's I don't want to call the company out, but the company's countrywide. I mean, you see them at all different conventions, all different field houses. Yeah. I know you see them at your own basketball games, football games. Mm-hmm. They outsourced them, and they just didn't know anything. It was really, really, it was bad.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it was bad. And so I know Kim and I were very frustrated. So after waiting around and stuff, our other friend was still there, and so he was going to fight it out. And then that's when we started noticing the people with stickers, and we were like, why is it so crowded? We couldn't even walk. I couldn't find Matt anywhere. We're trying to help each other out. We're on the phone.
Getting shouldered. I mean,
our friendship's like, I'm in, the line for Marvel or whatever. And, so he's picking up stuff for us. I'm going in this line, trying to pick up Firefly keychains when I found out later when I get up there that I could only buy one, which sucked.
Story about that too.
So, that was a mess. I guess that's what everybody wanted.
And so you guys understand, the reason why Hasbro gets so crowded is because it's not like other booths. You can't just go up to Hasbro and buy something.
Right.
No. You have to wait in line, usually Thursday through Sunday, early in the morning, like at 6 o'clock, and get a ticket with a time on it to come back to buy from Hasbro. And they limit the amount of items you can buy, like per day, per person, and then per day. They only sell a certain amount a day. So one figure, they only sell like maybe 100 of them a day, and then they're out for the day, and you have to come back the next day.
Do they stamp the back of your badge?
They do stamp the back of your badge to make sure you don't come back again and buy something. So once you're there, that's it.
You better get your stuff.
Yeah. So from my, were you done, babe? Mm-hmm. I don't want to. So because I think this is the interesting thing about Lana and I and Kim as well, is that there's so many we learned that there's so many perspectives. Ender's Game, Ender's Shadow plug. From Comic-Con, because Lana had a very different experience and idea, which I think is awesome. Her experience, especially on the floor, especially concentrated on Wednesday. So, like Lana said, her and Kim were in line. They were the first 50 people. I got there a little bit after they did. I was upstairs for a little bit, but then I ended up being downstairs in the ADA section and I was maybe like number 20. 25. I mean, it was very short. Where you guys were, I was the same, but I was downstairs. So we're sitting there, and you guys don't see anything because you're upstairs in the sales pavilion, which is it's open, but you don't see the floor. You don't have any visuals of the floor, the exhibit hall floor. So we're sitting there, and we see a lot of professionals walking in. That's fine. But then we start seeing people. This is like around 3:30, and then around 5, around 5, we see people. You can look because they only have one door open, but you can see people running. Power walking because you're not allowed to run on the floor. Power walking and stuff, and you could just tell these are people. They're buying stuff. You can tell people are buying stuff. So then we get in, as Lana said, we end up getting like a 10 till 6. I remember being like 5:49, 5:50, and I instantly ran over to the Hasbro panel or booth, and they were like, "We're closed. We're sold out of tickets." I'm like, "How is that possible?"
It's before the doors open.
It's before the doors open. So I think I ended up talking to you, Kim, but I was like, I'm gonna get down to the bottom of this as to why, because I didn't see the stickers yet.
Right.
And I was like, I need to know why this is happening. So we ended up meeting up with another friend of ours, Czar, and we ended up seeing this professional, and he had a plethora of bags, and these Hasbro bags stand out because they're huge. And all these Transformer toys and exclusives and collectibles, Deadpool exclusives and collectibles, all this stuff, My Little Pony, etc., etc. And we ended up asking him, when did you get that? And he told us, mind you, his professional badge, he told us he went in at 4 o'clock because he's a professional, and when they get in at 4 o'clock, they just go and buy stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not I can want to say student because I'm so used to college. You say student like edition and professional edition, but you're we're what are we attendees? We're attendees.
We're not professionals. We're not press. We're just attendees or regular attendees.
And but what he told us was that he went in and he got all the stuff. I mean, he said he wasn't the only one. Everyone that goes in there just goes and buys stuff. And I was pissed. I'm like, that's not fair. And I know we know life isn't fair, but that's truly not fair. And then we discovered, as Kim said earlier, about the stickers. We started to notice more and more of these stickers and like where they coming from. We learned that those were given out. Another thing that really frustrated me was I was told later on this week, like maybe Saturday, I was talking to someone, I don't know which booth it was, but it was a professional who was working at a booth, and he told me that if you're a professional, you are not allowed to buy anything during that 2 hours. It's for your time to get set up. It's for you to get ready. It's for you to be ready to buy stuff. Or not to buy stuff, but to sell stuff. You are not supposed to be able to buy anything unless you are not working.
They've flipped that.
What I'm learning is, because this is society, you have favoritism, you have people that have been having booths next to each other for years, people that are friends outside of Comic-Con, and they see this exclusive and they talk to each other like, can you just give me that? And this is on the sly. Once you buy it, that's it. I mean, no one's there to slap your hand. No, it's not like, because you have, like we said, you have an outsource of security. They don't know these things. And that's what really sucks.
Hasbro's a huge company.
Yeah,
they can do what they want. Really, Comic-Con's going to tell Hasbro not to come back?
And all it takes is one person. Like, if Lana worked for Hasbro and I'm a professional for another booth, and we're really good friends, there's no problem me saying, here's $60. Give me the Transformer exclusive, or here's $60 to give me the Deadpool exclusive. Like, there's no. I mean, you could easily grab it for me, put it in a bag, and I'll put it in my own booth and just hide it.
And nobody will be the wiser. So that's ridiculous. And also another thing is that we learned about people flipping badges. People who have professional badges and also regular attendee badges.
That was the guy that told us he had a professional.
He had a professional badge and a regular attendee badge. And he was switching them as needed.
So I'm sorry. Lana is completely right. He did say that he had a professional badge. He had a standard attendee badge. Yeah. And so the guy that I talked to, professional that I talked to about not allowing professionals to buy, he was right, because the guy did say he had to, and he flipped them as needed. So he would, if he was leaving his booth, he would just go to an attendee badge.
Yeah, he got in with a professional badge. He flipped it to an attendee badge, and he was able to do whatever he wanted to do.
So it's kind of funny, like these secrets that you learn through Comic-Con. Like the more you go, the more things you learn about, being a professional, being a press, just the perks you have, and just being, I would say, like even like a low-level socialite. Like, I mean, just if you know people, then you can get into anything.
And I also heard it was booth by booth, because I heard Matty Collector, which is Mattel, that's their branch of collectibles and high-end collectibles and things like that. They weren't selling to anybody. So it really is company by company. And I need to give props to Matty Collector. Number one, even though they sold out very quickly, you could pre-order online for your Comic-Con exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant. It just saves so much time. You have your receipt, you go there, you pick it up, and they made it very, very clear that, you know, you have, this doesn't mean you have a badge to Comic-Con.
Right.
Have a badge to Comic-Con before you decide to purchase on Maddie Collector. So I have to give big props to them for even having that process to where you can do pre-orders. And they were selling on site, so it's not like you only had to do pre-order.
Right.
But it gave so many more people the opportunity to get the exclusives that they really wanted. That was really cool.
Here's a funny story. Well, it's not funny to the guy, but I went to go pick up my stuff because I pre-ordered from Mattel, God bless them, and I went to go pick up my stuff, and the guy in front of me, he went up there, and they say you have to have your printout with your invoice number and your ID and the card.
Did he just have to have a printout, or could he have like his phone?
He could have his phone.
Okay.
But you have to have an ID and the card that was used. And so his wife is the one that made the payment, but she's in the hospital about to have a baby. And they would not give him his stuff because his name, her name was on there. And he's like, what? And I could hear him saying, look, she is pregnant. Like, she is going to have this kid. What do you want me to do? And they're like, sorry, we can't give it to you. We make an exception for you. We're going to have to make an exception for other people. And he's like, what do you need? You need a doctor's note? You need something? You got, I mean, because he's paid for this, right? And they're about to give him his money back. So I don't know what happened because I had left. I wouldn't stick around and see, but the guy was trying to get somebody, like a doctor on the phone.
I wish you would have. I was like, not I wish, but I mean, I guess it would have been cool to get that stuff. I wish I would get a follow up. Like, what exactly?
You know what though? But I
can't be.
It sounds harsh. Yeah. I can't fault them for that. Right. They're trying to cut out all the crap that you get, you know, from, you know, the stuff that we had to deal with Hasbro and stuff. But I mean, they're trying to keep it fair. I cannot even, and it's, you know, I'm sure they were able to resolve it because, you know, at some point you do have to be able to think for yourself and just be like, well, you know, this makes sense and, you know, whatever. But that's really interesting.
Yeah. They made him stand to the side. They were going to try to do something to help him. They needed to call a manager or whatever. So he was waiting behind for them to get that all sorted out. So I know that they were going to try to help him, but I just thought that was they weren't playing around.
Done? If he could have gone into his phone and pulled up his bank records or some type of other, you know, something that links to her account or, you know, something to show on the phone. Okay, this is the payment, this is the account, this is what came out, match it to the number that you have, and then I should just go work there.
I want to know. I want to know the story. I hope he got it.
I hope he got the stuff.
That's kind of sad because
it's sad.
We remember, like Lana, we talked. I was like, "Do you got everything printed out?" Yeah, I guess this really doesn't matter because his wife paid the payment. But it's like, you know, you have everything printed out. This is like a side tips 101 Comic-Con. You know, even if they say they can check it on your phone, print it out, print out receipts, print out tickets. Just because
I had two of everything
because you don't know. I mean, one, again, as we say, they hire outside help that has no knowledge of the process and the do's and don'ts from the transaction side of Comic-Con. So I always have every piece of, this is a side note, but just have every piece of information physically ready and digitally ready as well. I mean, you never know. But that was okay. So what else about? Because I want to talk about. I want to keep panels and hall and
the halls
and exhibit hall separate. So I'm trying to think because all of us were on the floor at least a little bit every day. It was kind of stressful because I know everything kind of happened on Wednesday, but
it did, didn't it?
Kind of going back to Wednesday, like even the thing like the book had like so the book has a map of the entire floor. All the booths or layouts were mapped by number. Like this is row 1000, 1100, 1200, all the way to I think 57 or 5800. So I think it's the size of 2 football fields or something like that. It's something pretty huge. But Lana had mentioned the Firefly gold keychain exclusive. Now, that was one of the things we had talked about. We're like, okay, we got to get this. And Kim wanted it as well.
We looked at it online and we said, I think you're the one who found it, or Kim found it. When you guys found it. And we were just like, all of us, you know, Natty Willie was over at the house.
Natty Willie.
Shout out.
Yeah.
And we were just like, all of us were like, oh my gosh, everybody wanted it. You know,
we're all huge Firefly fans.
We love Firefly. And so I'm in line. I'm like, I found the booth because the booth was very, very small. And so, Quantum Mechanics.
It was almost hidden.
But see, here's the thing though, because, oh my God, I wish I could remember the booth's name now, but if you looked at the map, and that is true, but remember, it wasn't the same location. So, you know, it was like booth, I kind of want to say I remember, 42, 49.
Something like that.
But when you went there, that wasn't a booth. It was like this.
It was almost just like
a stand.
It was behind the Ugly Doll display, which is that's another toy or a collectible.
And it's
think it's a toy company.
And I had ran around looking for it, and I couldn't find it, and I'm like on the phone online, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I can't find this.
And so I'm like, I'll find it because I'm not doing anything else right now. I'll find it. You go because you wanted to go to like Kid Robot or something.
Kid Robot, Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'll find it. So I found it, and I'm like, I found it, you know. And so I'm texting Kim, I'm texting Natty Willie, and I'm like, you know, who wants it? I'm gonna buy everybody's because I found it. And so I get up there, and I gotta give to this place. They have some beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Really
there.
Cool stuff.
I mean, just if you're like a really hardcore collector, then it is called Quantum.
I feel like it's what it's called.
It is Quantum.
While she's looking for it, this is what they did when they were giving out the exclusive. They started giving out you could buy as many Fireflies as you wanted, right? So there was no limit. You could buy 4, you could buy 5, you could buy 6, and then when they started to sell out a bunch of them, they like huddled and they were like, okay, well, there's a limit of 1. So by that time, there was only like maybe 100 left. So Kim and Lana got 1, and I didn't get 1. I'm like, man. And okay,
yeah.
and I guess I'm just gonna be honest because the line was right around the corner, and I could have easily been up there by then, but I couldn't find it.
I know.
So
it sucks.
I walked around. Oh, don't do this. I walked around, and there was a gap right at the transaction field, like where the customer service is or was, and I just walked up, and I was like, 1 Firefly. And the guy was like, sorry, we're sold out. And I was like, and that was you guys right behind me, remember? And you guys, oh, well, we got 1 because we have to get 1 each. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was pissed. And I'm like, no, this makes me upset. Then, this was the same day.
This had to be a different day.
Okay, maybe it was like early Thursday. A friend of ours, Sean, had texted me and she said, hey, I have an extra Firefly keychain if you want it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like I cannot believe it. So, ended up working out, but it was just stressful because I know there were some other things. I know Natty Willie had brought up how, this was the last podcast, or I think she may have said it in person, how they say that they have one thing here and it doesn't exist, or maybe at this booth doesn't exist, or it's not at that exact location. Even my other exclusive was just Street Fighter Shin Akuma 3-inch collector doll toy, whatever. It was supposed to be at one booth, and then when I got there, they were like, "Oh, we're actually over here." Like it was like number 4700, and they were like, "Oh, you need to go to 5300," and I'm like, No, like you can't do that. And I got there in the lounge around the corner, albeit I did get it. It's just kind of stressful how,
they split their booths. They do that sometimes, and I think it's so weird. Though you go to the booth, and then that's the company, and they're like, no, you can't buy this here. You have to buy it over there. Like My Little Pony had a whole beautiful display of some of their new ponies that are coming out. They had the Disco Pony, which I ended up giving. Shout out to Thomas for that. But I ended up getting, and also to Kim for my
Wait a minute,
Boba Fett.
So you did get the Disco Pony?
Yeah, and I got it because when Kim ended up, getting a ticket, and then I was like, can you get that? She couldn't get it for me again to the limits. And so then I texted Thomas. I was like, can you get, he didn't text me back, but he was like, here. And I was like, yes.
Oh, and side note, shout out to Kim because none of us got Hasbro tickets to get into the line of Hasbro. And Kim got into the line and she was able to get, for me, she got me the Deadpool taco truck, which I don't understand why it's not the chimichanga truck, but got me the Deadpool corpse taco truck, and it's all the Deadpool characters, corpse characters, are put into a taco shell and then placed into a taco truck. It is the coolest thing ever.
I love that stuff. Oh,
and I still owe you money for that too, Kim. So let me forget. Side note, I'm putting it on the record that I owe her money. She don't remember. Darn it. But then she was able to get, she got Lana stuff. I think you got some other people some stuff. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Kim, because I don't think if you weren't there,
we would not have any Hasbro right now.
We wouldn't have any Hasbro.
Much as we talked mess about Hasbro, we weren't about to turn down the exclusives that we wanted.
Right.
Let's keep that real right now.
I think there was a text on my phone about talking. I said some stuff about Hasbro. I was not happy. I was not happy.
I got that text.
No way.
Delete it.
So did you guys get everything that you wanted? Or?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wanted to get some extra stuff
what else did you
for
get?
my friend, but that was...
Any other exclusives that you get? Or what other exclusives did you get?
Hasbro, My Little Pony, the Firefly keychain. Honestly, those were... Oh, Deadpool variant, Deadpool My Little Pony variant.
2.5 hour wait in Marvel line. Side note, I have an extra copy. They gave me an extra copy.
Seriously?
Yeah, sorry Marvel, you gave me an extra copy. So I have an extra copy if anybody needs a Marvel variant. It's clean condition.
It is just...
Did you guys get Marvel? Did you guys get the variant?
I did. I got denied to come Nickelodeon. And I got a bone to pick with Nickelodeon because you're at Comic-Con. There's 100,000 people there. You're selling Legend of Korra. I'm a Legend of Korra fan. If you guys don't know, Legend of Korra is like the second installment of Avatar, The Last Airbender. It takes place like 100 years after that, I believe. Well, they're selling these little plush toys of little characters in Avatar for $25 a piece, and they're sold out every single time I go there. And I finally asked the lady, I'm like, how many do you sell a day? And she's like, oh, we only sell 30 a day. I'm like, it is 100,000 people at Comic-Con. You sell 30.
130,000 people.
That's even worse.
That's even worse.
Because that was the count that came out today, was that it was 129,000.
See, last year, I knew it was more. Last year it was 125. I had read that somewhere, and I was like, it's like, slash them. Anyways, sorry.
How are you selling all these extra tickets? Okay, we're going to...
That's a side note. That's a segue.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So what other exclusives did you get that you wanted? Did you get all your exclusives besides?
I didn't.
We both wanted that. What's the little flying thing on Legend of Korra? I don't know the name stuff.
The big thing was it Avatar?
The Appa.
But we both wanted the Appa. They didn't have the big one.
They didn't have them. They had the 2 plush toys that they have 30 a day, 30 people. I don't even. Okay, I'm over it.
I know, because the man was walking around with it on his head back and forth, and we wanted it. He had the plush toy on his head. He was in line. We're like, "Where'd you get it?" I saw that, and I was like, oh, "I need it." I was gonna just snuggle with it and take it home, and it was a little. I mean, we can get on Nickelodeon online, but when you see something like that,
it's not the same.
It's ridiculous.
But you can't, because they had a little station set up for online. If you wanted to pre-order it, I went to and it said sold out, and I'm like, why do you even have these computers here?
Why do they even just? Don't you take a baseball bat and just hit the computer and go?
Why are you doing this?
I have my feelings hurt. So.
Well, what else did you get?
Find on eBay.
I don't. What I didn't get. It was another Legend of Korra thing, because it wasn't at the Nickelodeon booth. It said Dark the Korra. See, you'll have that a lot of times where they'll
explain that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like, especially when they do comics or graphic novels for like popular things, a comic company's got to pick that up. So it'll be at the comic company's place, not the actual like Nickelodeon. It wouldn't be at Nickelodeon for Legend of Korra. It's at Dark Horse. So they announced that they have it in the Legend of Korra panel. So everybody in there for Legend of Korra ran there to buy one, and beat me to it. So
Kim, all that training you were doing, I don't understand why you didn't just take an elbow.
You know what? It's because
like a fullback.
I had to watch Legend of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was after Korra. I mean, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like Legend of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What is that?
Agent of I'm tired, gal. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've been sleeping outside for 3 days.
I know that's right.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I had to watch that panel. It was after Korra, and by the time I got out of it, all the books were gone.
Well, for me, I'm sorry, Kim, to follow you, but I got everything I wanted.
That's great.
That's good.
Because it just all worked out. I mean, with the with you, Kim, helping me get the Deadpool corpse, Sean getting me the Firefly Gold keychain. A friend of ours waited in line for 2.5 hours at Marvel to get us the Deadpool variant. Deadpool kills Deadpool, My Little Pony variant. Thank you so much. 2.5 hours. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, that was like above and beyond.
But my biggest, seriously, my biggest goal was Kid Robot. So Kid Robot is a clothing store / collectibles. They specialize in these blank canvas toy dolls, I guess, that are called like Monies or Labbits, and they do a lot of variations to them. And they partnered last year with The Simpsons, and this year they partnered with The Simpsons again. So they had and with Matt Groening, I would say, because they had an exclusive Bart Zombie and they had an exclusive Zoidberg from Futurama. So I was like, I have to get those two. So Wednesday when we got in, of course the first place I go is Hasbro because that's like the number one. And then I run to Kid Robot and they're like, sorry, we're sold out. I'm like, or sold out of tickets. They mock Hasbro. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, well, you can come back around 2 o'clock the next day and maybe get it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm like pissed on Thursday, like I keep walking them to it, and I walk up to the booth, the Kid Robot booth, and everyone has on these colored wristbands, green wristbands, orange wristbands, and each one signifies, like, the green one is a Zombie Bar, the orange one is Zoidberg, the gold one is Mecha Zangief for Street Fighter, and I don't have any of these wristbands. And this guy, I'm overhearing this guy talking, he's like, well, I have the Bart wristband, I don't want it. And I was like, can I have it? And he was like, yeah, you can have it. Like, I don't want it. So I took it, and I was able to get... So I had that green wristband, right? Which was torn, so I couldn't put it on my wrist. It's in my pocket. But then I had my Embassy Suites green wristband for breakfast. So you can get in their breakfast and stuff. And by the time I got to the line, it would say like Zombie Bart only. And the lady just saw my green wristband and said, oh, do you want one of each? And then before I even thought, I was like, yeah. So I got one of Zombie Bart, Zoidberg, and Mecha Zangief, and the Labbit. It was a Wolverine Labbit. So these Labbits are like, they're lab rabbits, and they're called that because they get experimented on. So this is like a Wolverine-looking rabbit with claws come out of its mouth. Like
oh my
claws.
gosh.
And that wasn't necessarily an exclusive, but the other three were. So I got all of that. Like, I lucked out. I really was so grateful that the guy was like, I don't want it. But then I didn't even need it because the lady mistaked my wristband from Embassy Suites for the wristband for Kid Robot, and I got everything I needed. So that was really it. I mean...
Stuff like that at Comic-Con happens. So sometimes you literally stumble into everything that you need. Sometimes it's super hard. I mean... You know, I got a story, but yeah, absolutely.
Everything
it worked out. It worked out for all of us, really.
It did, and I would say it's like 50%. I wouldn't even say that. I would say maybe 80% luck, 20% timing. I mean, but even still, overall, that's just luck. I mean, you have to be in the right place at the right time.
You do, absolutely.
John Barrowman's signature. That's how I got it. I just happened to be walking by at the right time, and I'm like, "There's John Barrowman."
That's how I got Nathan last year.
See? There
just
it is.
Right place, right time. And I was like,
luck.
what?
So tips for Connors, please, when you go, like, if you don't get you will get pissed. But if you don't get, like, that ticket, like, for Hasbro, if you don't get that wristband or whatever from Sony or Fox, don't be mad. That's fair. But don't, like, run home. Keep going back to that booth. Yeah, keep going to the booth. Keep hanging out because, like me, I'm a living witness. The guy, I just overheard the guy say he didn't want his wristband. I took it. And... I'm sure you'll be at the Fox panel or wherever, or Fox booth, and somebody may not want their sticker, or they may not want that exclusive. They don't care. And ask them for it. Do not stay there.
The worst thing they can say is no. It does not hurt to ask. Just, hey, you know, I overheard that you don't want that. You know, I'd really like to have it. Can I have it? And, you know, everybody there is passionate about what they collect and stuff like that. And I mean, there's going to be rude people everywhere, but I haven't really run into anybody that was just downright nasty about stuff. I mean, if they would like to keep it, they'll be like, oh no, I really want to get this, and that's fine. But overall, people there are, you know, we're a pretty intense group.
We are for the same reason,
but we're there for the same reason, and I have to say, for it to be, it's pretty orderly and pretty friendly for so many people who are under so much high stress. It's a wonder that we don't have, you know, the real fights and just except for Nerd Rage 2000 what?
9?
Except for Nerd Rage 2009, the pencil incident in Hall H.
Was it a pencil?
It was a pencil.
You gotta tell them the story. I didn't even know it was a pencil. Tell them the story, Lana.
Had a seat, and he got into an argument with somebody else for a seat, and they were going back and forth together, going at it, and then one of them got mad and pulled out a pencil and stabbed the other person with the pencil.
I bet he didn't see that coming.
And so that's how nerds get down. There's no guns that are real. There are no knives that are real. But we've got pencils and pens.
And a lot of lanyards.
And a lot of lanyards. And that's what we do.
They can they can plastic cut you.
Nerd rage. Get out of my seat. Get out of my seat.
So, did anything else happen on the floor that we can think of?
Not that I can think of. Not too much cosplay during that night. Not on Wednesday. Just it being super, super crowded. Oh, one thing that was funny, we all, when you register for the con, you get your badge, you get your lanyard. Real quick, PJ, you put it down with our lanyards for the con crew. I gotta say, he awesome. Whoa, what was it, like 40? 42
I think so.
At least 42 for everybody. I gotta give, everybody loved him. I gotta give you props for that. That was just so much work. That was love.
Also with that, PJ is a good friend of ours.
Yes.
And we all met last year at one time or another, but we were all part of the same group. And he had this really good idea to make this year even more special by creating jerseys for us. So was it 20 flat? I think it was 20. Like the quota to me, I think
the quota was 20.
So we had 20 jerseys made. You may have seen us. It was these bright yellow jerseys, hockey jerseys.
It says Comic Con Crew on the front.
Established 2003. And they were really cool, and we tried to push it as much as possible. It did get a little hot, so usually I would just walk to my destination in it and then just take it off because it was really hot. But it was just really cool. So shout out to PJ. The lanyards, he like Lana said, wove them by hand.
Everybody loved them.
They glow in the dark practically.
They're just awesome.
They're industrial.
Very industrial. Everybody was like, "Oh, where'd you get your lanyards and stuff?" Like, well, they were special made.
And people were asking to take pictures of our jerseys, and it was just really cool.
It was awesome. PJ, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was like our true cosplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like cosplay, not cosplay. And that was really cool. But to move on to panels, so where Lana and I differ in a good way is that she's a panelist.
I like the panels. I like. This year I had a different experience than last year, and not completely on purpose. I meant to go to DC panels and things like that, but it just didn't work out. I have some regrets about the panels that I went to just because it wasn't what I expected, especially for Thursday. But
I want to pick your brain, or I want you to let us know. It's you as well, Kim. Kim, and I didn't see Lana or Kim all week after Wednesday. Because we were just completely, they were camping out. I'm sleeping on the couch.
Right.
And so Kim, I'm gonna let Kim and this is where Kim really shines. I'm gonna let Kim and Lana really take it from here about the panels. What did you guys see? What were the, I guess like we did with the floor, like what did you guys see? What was the highlights? What were the, like you said, some things you were disappointed in, if you don't mind?
Yeah, we were split on Thursday, so Kim, you can go first and let us know kind of what you did.
Okay, so there's 2 big rooms at Comic-Con. We've got a ballroom 20, and it holds, what is it, about 4,000 people?
I don't know about ballroom, but I know that Hall H holds 6,000.
Okay, so it's 4,000 people, and Hall H, which is the massive one that holds 6,000 people, means it's got bathrooms in it, and there's like food right in the food court area. Yeah. So that's the big one. That's where all the big stuff is. And Lana was in Hall. Were you in?
On Thursday. I was in ballroom 20 for X-Files anniversary.
Okay, so you were she was in ballroom 20, and I was in Hall. No, Thursday. I didn't go to any panels on Thursday.
That's right. You were sleepy.
Yeah, okay. I went to Geek and Sundry. That's what
Geek and Sundry. Okay, so I'll talk about.
Oh yeah, that was the Comic-Con meetup.
Oh yeah, and that was your Felicia. So I'll let you talk about that, and I'll just talk about the panels real quick because Okay, I've been an X-Files fanatic, and I may have talked about this the last podcast.
Yeah,
I've
did.
been
Yes,
I've been
you did.
X-Files fanatic, and I yelled at Matt because I'm like, I can't believe you haven't watched this.
Not faithfully. I have seen episodes,
but not to my satisfaction.
That's fair.
And so I was so excited. We were with our other good friend Michelle, and our friends Michelle and Jordan. And I camped out with them overnight, and we were just, we're going to do these panels. They love X-Files too. I had to sit through some things I didn't want to sit through, although I am going to have to do a little bit of research on this Beauty and the Beast show, because after I saw some outtakes, at first I was like, Beauty and the Beast, bleh. But then I saw some outtakes and, the cast and stuff, and I was like, he has powers.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on, because you didn't.
He has powers.
She didn't tell me about this. Okay, so
don't knock it. You watch Vampire Diaries.
Beauty and the Beast is on CW, but it airs right after Arrow.
I don't even know when it comes
show
on.
about Oliver Queen of DC Green Arrow, and I haven't watched it because it's Beauty and the Beast.
That's why I stayed away from it.
The trailer looks interesting. But it's not enough to be like, I'm gonna stay after Arrow to watch.
I don't watch anything on CW. I don't watch anything on CW.
See, I don't surprise. As a DC girl, you don't watch Arrow. Arrow's pretty good. It's not the best.
Watch Arrow.
Arrow's pretty good. I just honestly,
it's not the best, but it's good.
CW is not a channel that I just watch, and so even though I saw when Arrow previewed last year, I just forgot, honestly. I literally just forgot about the show because I don't watch CW. I don't watch anything on there. And it's not personal. I just don't watch it. I'm not personal. Whatever. I just don't watch it.
It's not personal.
Anyway, at this panel, it was, I was like dozing off waiting for X-Files because, sleeping outside. I was like, I'll sleep. And then I woke up.
Do that again?
How does it go? Really?
Yeah.
It's going to be a new ringtone.
So,
mouth all open.
Yes. So the panel came up, and homegirl from Smallville, Kristen Crouch, she's on Beauty and the Beast, and I stayed away from it because of Beauty and the Beast, and I'm not going to get into my theories on Beauty and the Beast Disney version right now because it's not the time. But I just had no interest. I'm like, cornball. I was never going to watch it until I saw the little trailer. And I saw some things, and I was like, what? Am I really? I'm a little interested. I'm kind of interested.
Really?
It's not what I thought it was going to be. So the guy who's like the Beast, I'm like, he's not furry. He doesn't look like a dog.
Yeah, he's normal looking,
He's normal looking, except for he's got this jagged scar. I mean, if you like sexy jagged scars or whatever. So apparently she does, because then, hey, season 1's over. They got all hot and heavy already. So.
Spoiler alert, probably.
Yeah. CW, whatever. Everybody gets hot and heavy in the first season.
You have a point. Arrow, they did that in Arrow. Yeah.
First season. So, and I just started watching it, and after hearing her talk about, and I did like her in Smallville, after hearing her talk about the show, and after hearing the cast, and just, I don't know, I guess I like to see people be successful, I guess. I don't want anybody to fail. And after hearing their excitement about the show and the direction that it's going and, the fans and stuff, I don't know. It just, it wasn't bad. The footage that I saw was not bad. It wasn't worse than other stuff that I've watched. And the production value looked pretty good. Stop nodding your head. Kim, the production value looked pretty good. And so I think and he has powers, and I'm super, hey.
What are the powers?
I don't know.
He's
he can
strong.
lift things, destroy things, and he'll be, I don't know.
That's
Powers. So I think I'm gonna check out a couple of episodes and just see if it, if it's not, I drop a show.
How would you check out some episodes from Vampire Diaries? How would you do that?
Why? Because I have issues because I've already heard about. I have it. How many? We're gonna have to talk about this off the podcast.
3 seasons.
We're gonna have to talk about this off
the
podcast.
We're gonna get into argument about it after the podcast.
Is it 4 seasons?
At least.
Because the original started this fall.
I have issues with things that I've read about the show, and we can't talk about that now.
All right. Fine.
So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
So
basically, there's that, and I had to send through some other, what's it called, Stardust, Starcross, some star about some aliens. But you saw
Psych.
Oh,
yeah, I started. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, and I actually had started watching Psych. Just
do you
because
like it? I love that show.
I do. No, I love it. I really, really do. I mean, I'm so far behind season wise, but it's not like it's on Netflix, so I'm just just watching it.
I can let you borrow them.
You own them all. Who owns?
I really
TV shows now.
My sister got them for me.
Firefly. I will be buying Chuck.
That's fair.
I will be buying Castle when it finally goes to Blu-ray one day. Yeah,
it's not on Blu-ray yet.
It's not. Yeah, right.
Amazon.
I've been checking.
Prime Instant Video downloaded the seasons HD.
Castle?
Yep.
Same time, Castle.
Jeez.
So,
okay.
Side note, I was telling Lana I was watching Castle. When was this? Last night?
Like last night, yeah.
Everything, the days during Comic-Con really blend together.
It's weird.
It was last night I watched Castle because after I went to, I can talk about this later, but I went to a panel or a podcast, and I went to Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego.
Be careful.
Be careful. And I came home. I keep calling it home. Hotel and watched Castle, and I was like, this show's actually pretty good because I'm like eating this interesting barbecue, and
tasted awesome.
And right, and but it was. I watched it and I was like, okay, because I really love Nathan Fillion. I think he's a great actor. I have not watched Castle at all. I have some interesting opinions about Nathan Fillion.
What?
But
what'd you say?
We're talking about that later.
What?
And I just think
he's
that
awesome,
I think he's just not. I don't. Like
Wait, what?
I just don't like his personality.
What do you? Wait a minute. Wait.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna have a separate podcast.
Hold on. Are you talking about? Wait a minute. Are you talking about his personality? Or are you talking about on the show his character?
No, I'm talking about Nathan Fillion's personality.
Okay, so we're gonna have a separate podcast about that where we can debate.
Lana, me and you have had this conversation before about his Twitter attitude is just not really.
He's hysterical, except for a couple of things where I didn't really like.
See, so there's a couple things that he's done that I'm not like.
90% of the time.
What?
And I guess I can't talk because I'm not the nicest person all the time.
We need to talk about that at another time because I need some in-depth details.
Moving on. Okay, so let's because I want to get
through the panels
as well. So, she's showing me pictures of her and Alan Tudyk, and is it Tudyk or Tunic? Tudyk with a D, Tudyk, and what's his name? I don't know this guy's name on the left.
Nathan, I'm gonna punch you.
You know what? I am so over him right now, okay? No, we're done.
Moving, I don't want to hear about your Catholic experience. Moving on.
X-Files.
Okay, so anyways, that was a huge segue. So anyways, back to the X-Files.
See?
I waited through these panels. Normally, I don't, if there was several panels in between, I would just be like, boo. But like I said, I've been a fan for a really long time, and I just said I have to do this. And so here's the thing, I bought autographs from them, and the company Lightspeed Fine Art, they changed the autograph time to where it was right before the panel. And if you know anything about the ballrooms, you can't just leave. You have an hour. Basically, you can get a bathroom pass, and you can leave, but you have to be back before the panel's over. So if you're going to run and do something, your time is super limited, not because something is far away, but because it's so crowded, it's really, really difficult to navigate the floor and try to get where you're going. You have to stop. You have to walk slow. It's super hard. But they were cool. They said, if you get a bathroom pass, we're going to put you in the front of the line. And that's what they did. So kudos to them, because they, they had a problem, and they definitely were looking out for people, and they fixed it. So got in, they let us jump the line so we can get back quickly.
Right.
David and Jillian were there. They signed it, and so
how was there? Because I think out of everything, I know X-Files was like going into this was like your go-to.
Yeah, it was. I was. Oh my gosh!
Did you really enjoy it? Was it what you expected or what you wanted?
No, it wasn't. They had like 7 or 8 producers on there, which was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me.
Sorry, it's late.
It's late. It's super late. I've never seen so many producers on a panel like that. And then it had David and Jillian, and then it had Chris Carter. Of course, he's the creator. You got to have him. And, well, I mean, they were going down. They were asking the producers what their favorite episodes were, and they were talking about it. And Gillian Anderson was interesting, and she gave interesting answers. David Duchovny was pretty coherent, and
Steve was on the set of Confrontation.
Yeah, he was kind of quiet and kind of taking it all in, and I don't know. I think about the 10th year, the epic panel, the 10th year anniversary of Firefly, which we all slept outside for, and just the passion. I don't know. It's just
I was just about to ask you that the difference between.
Yeah, there was no. I mean, the fans were definitely passionate about the show and things like that, and they came out and we stood up and we were so happy. But when you look at the cast, and you look at, you know, Joss Whedon and, you know, Nathan Fillion and Summer Glau and Alan Tudyk and Miranda wasn't there. But, you know, the rest of the Firefly class, Adam Baldwin was there also, and Sean Mayer. And they're so, even now, even though Firefly's been off the air for 10 years, even though there were only 14 episodes, and even though they've all gone on to do bigger and better, and I don't know about better, but, you know, just other projects that they've gone on to be successful, they're still so gracious and so overwhelmed, and you can really tell that they're, even Joss Whedon, who's huge right now, they're overwhelmed, and they're just like, you know, they're still getting love. They're not, you're stupid for hanging on to this show. It's kind of like, you know, we appreciate you and thank you for recognizing what we were trying to do. And that's what I always appreciated about them. And with X-Files, who was, you know, is definitely a huge phenomenon. They went on for 9 seasons. It's, you know, it's the 20th anniversary. Yes, it was a long time ago, but I don't know.
You were underwhelmed.
I was underwhelmed. I kind of felt like they didn't really care. And, you know, David, he's definitely gone on, and he really doesn't do conventions. So for him to even be there, I mean, that was pretty awesome. I can't really complain too much. And I can see them kind of being like, wow, I didn't expect this. They're not on the convention circuit. They're just not. So...
Well, I just know, you know, leading up to it, I know as a witness, a living witness, you were extremely excited.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you at least I'm glad you went, not at least. I'm glad you went. I'm glad you got the signing. It sucks that it wasn't the same as Firefly.
Yeah, or even just, I don't know. I would have loved to see, like, Mitch Pileggi there. And, you know, there were a lot of actors that were kind of regulars. Even though the Lone Gunmen, you know, they had their own spinoff, and even though they got cut off in their spinoff and stuff like that, they were kind of integral. It would have been nice to see them. There were other actors that they could have brought. And I mean, if you're going to do an anniversary show, let's do an anniversary show. Let's bring back
and let's be happy to be here.
Supporting characters. Let's say hey, and let's pay attention to the questions and be coherent when you answer them.
Right. So let's jump to Saturday.
What? No.
Well, all I'm worried about is just time-wise. I know it's pretty late. But I know that Saturday was a really big deal. It's a huge, huge deal.
Yeah,
but Kim, before we do that, what about you?
Well, we were in the same panel on Saturday. All I was going to say
I'm saying before Saturday's panel.
All I was going to say, on Thursday I went to, because there's a lot of things to do around Comic-Con that don't have anything to do with having a badge. And one of those things was at Jolton Joe's, which is right across the street from the convention center.
You didn't need a badge?
I did have a badge.
I mean, you didn't need a badge to get
I didn't need a badge, no.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Geek and Sundry completely took over this place called Jolton Joe's, and they had, you know, Felicia Day was there doing a meet and greet. She did a panel at like 10 a.m., and then she sat there and she signed a bunch of things. And actually, her next panel was canceled, so she sat there for like 2.5 hours signing everybody who came in there. She signed. She sat there until everybody had everything signed, and she does that a lot. So they had that whole place decked out with a bunch of Geek and Sundry stuff. They had all the vloggers from the channels there meeting everybody and whatnot, so it was pretty cool. That's what I did on Thursday for the most part.
That's awesome.
That was also the cool thing was that was not an open to the public party. That was a very...
Oh no, that's different. That was what I did during the day. Now there was a party.
Oh, you gotta talk about because Lana and Kim went to a private
a
VIP party for Geek and Science. You gotta talk about that.
Yes, we what we did was a friend of mine and told me to tweet AMD the GPU graphics maker. Processor maker. They sponsored this party for Geek and Sundry, and so we tweeted them saying, is there any way to get on the list or to get tickets for the VIP party? And they answered us back and said, send me your email, send me your name, and the name of one other person. And so we did that, and they're like, you're on the list. So we got to go to the Geek and Sundry party on Thursday night, and it was really cool.
It was pretty cool. I liked it. A lot of
people were there.
Yeah, there were. John Barrowman, who was the star of Torchwood, which is a spinoff of Doctor Who.
And he's on Arrow, too.
And he's on Arrow. He was there.
On Scandal.
Oh, yeah, he was on Scandal.
So, yeah, right. So, he was there. Who else did we see? Felicia Day, of course, she was hosting, so Felicia Day was there.
But there was the cast of the Guild.
Okay. Some of the cast of the Guild. We got to meet Blerds from the Guild and took pictures with him. He's super nice.
Cute picture on Facebook of Lana and Blerds.
Yeah.
Zabu was there.
Zabu was there. Clara was there.
Yeah.
So there's people, I mean, if you're not familiar with like kind of deep into nerd culture with like what Geek and Sundry is, and if you're not familiar with YouTube channels, we're throwing out these names and you're like, what, who? Check out The Guild. It's a good web series. It's really, really funny, especially if you game online, if you game period, you're gonna definitely appreciate it.
The first couple seasons are on Netflix Instant as well.
Yeah, and then you can stream the rest on YouTube and also on Hulu.
Yep.
So, yeah. But, so the party was really cool. We just saw, Alan Tudyk came by the party. And it was just neat to because we had never really been to a VIP party with other celebrities and things like that, or nerd.
You just made that up. I like that. You just made that up.
Yeah, because it is
copyright.
So because I mean, your normal person, they're not like A-list people. They're like nerd famous. These are the people that we want to meet. I would say. Probably more than
hang out with more
than who you would see on the screen. Because if you're gonna ask me, who do you want to hang out with? I'm gonna say like, I want to hang out with Felicia Day, or I want to hang out with Nathan Fillion, and these aren't necessarily considered super A-list celebrities. But if I could pick somebody to have lunch with, it would be somebody from the nerd list, like Zachary Levi, who does this Operation Smile, charity and stuff. That's who I'm gonna pick.
You're right. Exactly. You're completely right. I think we've talked about this, especially during Comic-Con, before Comic-Con, even before this podcast, that we've really gotten a lot of feedback and made some really big connections with what you may think of as our minor celebrities. For us, they're really big, especially in the true nerd culture, not the hipster. Which is sadly where Comic-Con is kind of going to the, we don't really make connections with the hipster type nerds. We really make connections with the true nerds, especially the people that are really taking it, like we are, Alana and myself, into our own hands when it comes to doing our own podcast and, really getting out there and flying out and driving down to San Diego to network and also have a good time, but also, meet other people, fellow podcasters, vloggers, bloggers, they're just like us in that, we get so much inspiration and information from them. So I was really, really happy that Blerds on Nerds was able to, and Lana was obviously able to represent, and Kim was able to go as well to the Geek and Sundry party.
But Matt went to a pretty awesome party, and Matt, you spent a lot of time here, so I really want you to talk about Nerd HQ and kind of what was going on, and just about that whole operation. I think it's a really great charity. It's very important.
So I don't know when Nerd HQ started. Was it 2 years ago, or was it last year?
I want to say this is year 3. I don't think last year was the first year.
Okay.
It's year 3.
This is year 3 because this is the 3rd venue.
Well, this is the best year yet. Nerd HQ is, as Lana had mentioned, it is the Zachary Levi's and others. I know it's not just him by himself, but it's their brainchild or their mini Comic-Con, as you will. their name on Twitter is the Nerd Machine, and you have to follow them on Twitter. They do a lot of blogging. They host a lot of games. They're very nerd centric, but it's like a baby Comic-Con for Comic-Con. So you don't need a badge to get in. It's absolutely free to get in every day. This year it was at Petco Park. So it was actually at the baseball field.
Half of it they split it with the Walking Dead Escape.
Yeah,
so
the other half of the you're right. The other half of the stadium was for the Walking Dead Escape, and then which is like an obstacle course with zombies, sponsored by the Walking Dead AMC. And then the other half that we went to, or that I went to a lot, was the Nerd HQ Zachary Levi, and Zachary Levi, as you know, he's from Chuck. I don't know if he's anything else like TV wise.
He was on Chuck, and there were some other shows he did. He's going to be mostly widely known for Chuck, and now he's also on Broadway, which is why he has some help moderating. He's doing a play called First Date. And so he flew here. Yeah, he also did Tangled. He was one of the.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was in Tangled. He did a good job, and so he does some singing and stuff like that. He has a theater background.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I'm definitely gonna check that out. First Date. Let me check out that Broadway. But that's what I did. So I mentioned earlier that. Lana and I have really different perspectives, and not in a bad way, but meaning when it comes to Comic-Con, like she loves the panels, and I love to just be out and about and just going. I commend anyone that camps out. Lana is amazing for doing it, but it's fun. I wish you could see her face when she said it. It's fun. Which is really cool, but then, I like to go out and be out and about, and, like the smaller things, like Nerd HQ, and just going out about the city and stuff, and I was really honored to win a contest with, PS4's new game called Watch Dogs, Ubisoft developers, they developed a game called Watch Dog, which is really, really cool, futuristic, present day, but futuristic when it comes to IT and like hackers. And I got to win, I won a contest, or Blerds on Nerds won a contest where I got to go to a gaming lounge with Aisha Tyler. It was very exclusive. Only 3 people won, which was weird.
Yeah, and I saw the tweet, and I was like, I saw the tweet.
I was like, there's just other people, but you go in and it's like this. It actually was convenient because it was right next to our hotel, and you go in and it's like, what's your name? And I'm like, I tell her my name, and she's like, who are you with?
I love it.
And I was like, Blerds on Nerds.
I love it.
I felt so cocky. And she was like, Blerds on Nerds? Okay. And then another lady comes up and she's like, hi, who are you? And I told her my name. And she's like, oh, come in. And it was just so, I wish you, I kept telling Lana, I was like, I wish you could have been there, because you walk in and she's like, you want something to eat, you want something to drink, or you're over 21. It was very private. Like the developers and the lead PR of Watch Dogs was there and walked me through the entire demo.
Wow.
It was a one-on-one. Like there was actual, one of the developers was playing the demo, and then the lead PR guy, Kevin was his name, walked me through the entire demo. The concept, the foundation, the origin story, which you can do. I mean, it was like a 25-minute demo, and I couldn't play the games, but I was able to watch. It was just so cool. And I'm sitting here like drinking like Voss water and having like a martini, and they're making like antelope sandwiches. I mean, it's like all these like different things, and it was just so amazing and extremely intimate. And then I got to meet so just Lana is all about Nathan Fillion, which I always support.
Yes.
And I am all about Aisha Tyler.
Yes.
And so I walk into, I'm going to make this short and sweet because I don't want to make this podcast 27 hours. This could be a 24-hour podcast. When I walk in and the lady's like, okay, you want the water? And I look over and Aisha Tyler's literally like, me and Lana are probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet away from each other. That's how close Aisha Tyler was next to me. And she was talking to someone else. And I'm like, I'm like, no, yeah, some water's great. That's great. And she's like, well, Aisha Tyler's talking to someone, but she would love to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, cool. No big deal. Whatever. Right. I mean, no rush. I ain't got to talk to her. And so they're walking me through the game and stuff. And then at the end of the demo, Aisha's like, boo. And she literally was on my shoulder. She's like, boo. I was like, Chuckle. Hey. And she was like, hi, nice to meet you. She's like, Matt, right? Didn't tell her my name.
blew you away. How did you even talk after
like,
that?
Yeah, I was like, yes. I was like, Aisha, right? Like trying to be, like, like trying to be cool
cute,
about it. I don't know you. And so we talked for like 20 minutes. But the thing that was so cool was that we talked about her and her brand and like the Girl on Guy, her podcast, which you should definitely check out.
Check it out. It's awesome.
And also talking about how she stays motivated and keeping ideas fresh. Lana and I we're babies in this world, and we're really trying to develop ourselves very rapidly, but very, holistically, and trying to provide really good content and all this stuff. And it was just a really, really good conversation. So it ended up being from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. But she had like a hard stop at 2. She had something else to do. But the cool thing was this was on Friday while you were in panels. That's where I was Friday. And then the very next day, I was able to go to see her record her podcast live for Girl on Guy with Jared Padalecki. I was like, I didn't want to say his name wrong. The nicest, the coolest guy. It was very intimate. There was only 30 people there. We were in the front row. And it was just really cool actually to see her. I was the most excited to see her set up because she's a podcaster, just to see like how she sets up things and the mics and all that. But we'd had pictures beforehand, so we walk up and I go, she was like, hi. She's like, hey, how are you? And I was like, good. I was like, good to see you again. She's like, oh, good to see you too. She's like, why don't you just camp out here? She's like, I have seen you like 2 days in a row. I'm like, she remembered me. And she was like, so what am I making this out to? And I go, Jaquanda, spelled the proper way. And
I love it. Oh gosh, I love it.
She puts the marker like on my book, and she's like, "What's the proper way?"
I love that you said that.
Right, and the thing that made me floored was she goes, I was like, well, can you just make out to Blerds on Nerds? And she does, and I didn't have my badge on. I had it in my book in my bag, and she goes, she's like, Blerds on Nerds. She's like, but your name is Matt, right? And I was like, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, my face melted. And I was like, yeah.
Make it up to Matt.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I was just so, like, how Lana is when she saw Nathan Fillion and touched his waist today. Yeah, I was put on the spot. Yeah. Was how I felt when Aisha Tyler was like, she remembered me. She did the podcast. She said goodbye to me. And it was just like the coolest experience. And it's I guess to kind of circle it back, it's really awesome because we both got to meet like our idols.
People,
our people. People
that we just
are just inspired by.
Everybody has little obsessions with people for whatever reasons, and whether it be that we think they're attractive or we just love their work or it's just something
holistic
about their personality that they put out to the public. Because they are actors and stuff. Their personalities they put out but there's just something. There's a draw, and so for Matt, there's a draw. Aisha Tyler.
I loved it. And the thing, this sounds really petty, and I apologize. I'm sure there's listeners out there that love Aisha Tyler. But when we got in line, so Saturday was a book signing, and then if you were one of the first 25 people to enter into the book signing, you got to sit down for the podcast. Is it sad that when I got in line, I was number 40, and I was pissed there were other people there that, like, even knew who she was? Yeah. I'm like a hipster idolizer. I was like, other people know you?
Yeah, because...
I wanted to get there, and there was, like, no one else at the book signing.
You wanted her to yourself.
Yeah, oh my God, that sounds creepy. Please don't.
It's not. No, it's not. No,
I don't know. It's like, but I guess the thing I'm most proud about is, and I know for a fact Lana would be the same way. Like if Nathan Fillion Nathan / Aisha.
Yeah.
And they're actually really good friends too.
They're
really good friends. They're really good friends. They tweet each other.
Because they tweet each other.
If they, like, when Aisha came up to me and talked to me, I was, like, really composed, and I was sweating bullets on the inside, but we were having, like, a genuine conversation, and I'm sure, she'll forgive me in a couple of days, and that's fine, but it was just, it means the most, it means the most to me. I need to tweet her. It means the most to me, but I feel like with Lana, I feel like if you and Nathan had a intimate conversation, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, I feel like you would really be composed, and I feel like most people would be really composed, even with their idols or people that they really, look up to. Because they just have so much knowledge because of the body of work that they provided, the body of work they've created, how hard they work. They are up against adversity all the time. I think Nathan Fillion's a great actor, and I did say that, I don't really like his personality at times. I really respect him. I would never look down on him at all. Mm-hmm. And I really respect his work, and I feel like if he came up and talked to me, I would just want to learn as much as I could from him and not be in like this fan. We all have that fanboy, fangirl mode where you're like, oh my god. It's like when you're put on the spot and like when the lady was like, oh, here, this is Aisha, this is Matt. Like, and we talked, I was like, you can react two ways. You can be creepy and be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Or you can say, turn it on or turn it off. And let me soak up and appreciate and cherish every moment. And I feel like I cannot wait for Lana to have that moments with Nathan, because I'm sure it'll happen. The harder we work, the closer we get. And I think you would have a really good conversation with him. I think so.
But you know what it is? And here's the thing. It's like I group people into little groups. There's people that it's like I just want to picture with you, and I think you're hot, and I just want to hug. But I don't necessarily want to have a conversation because it's like I have a picture in my mind, and in some ways, especially if I think you're super cute or something, I don't want that picture destroyed because you opened your mouth and your personality came out. Is that wrong?
But we've heard him give really interviews. Like
so he said some good stuff, but I don't know. It's like I'm wondering, and now I have to think, and maybe we'll talk about it. Like,
I can't wait to push you in front of him to talk to him.
It's like, who would I really, really, and I think we should talk about this maybe next time. If you can meet one person and have a sit down and just really, really pick their brain, who would you really?
I gotta think about this because it wouldn't be Aisha Tyler.
So we're gonna try to remember this question for next week. I think that's a good one.
Kim,
who
don't
would
let us
you really,
forget.
really, really, really want to talk to?
Don't let us forget. That's a really good question.
Yeah, no, it really is.
VP of Social, please don't let us forget.
Yeah. Let you forget.
So so that was my week. I mean, really, it was just a lot of nerdy shit, a lot of floor being on the panel. Okay, but they gotta talk about Marvel.
Yeah, we gotta talk about.
There's a lot. It's not just Marvel that happened.
How much time do we have left?
We have to do a part 2.
We'll have to do a part 2.
I think we're gonna. Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we need to do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2. So let's do the
bro of the week. So
did you say bro of the week?
It's late. So what we're gonna do is Comic-Con is huge. You can't do 4 days in like an hour. So we're already at an hour and 25. So we're going to do a part 2 of Comic-Con next week because Marvel is going to take up half of that time, and then plus Sunday and the rest of the stuff that we did in my Nathan story. So. Yeah, buddy, now we have come to our portion where we are going to announce our Blerd of the Week.
Yes, we are, Lana.
And I gotta say,
we thought long and hard about this.
We did. We thought for a really, really, really long time about this. And, this person is like super smart and just awesome all the way around. And I just feel like, do you want to announce?
No, Lana, I'll let you announce it.
Our Blerd of the week this week is, wait for it, sounds.
You want me with drums?
Yeah. Is Kim. We wanted this, didn't we want that? Yeah. Kim is our Blerd of the week. And this is why.
I was like, because people were like, okay, who is Kim?
Who is Kim? Kim. The one who's been sitting here giving her...
parents.
She came from Krypton. She doesn't have
She came in a capsule. Y'all didn't know? Now you know.
My sister that always supported me.
Yes, and
okay, you can get your acceptance speech after.
Yeah, we're not done.
Because people need to know who you are and why.
They don't even know who you are.
Who is she?
So
she's not famous.
So she's helped us out a lot with a lot of stuff, a lot of promotion, a lot of ideas.
Be honest, we just do the
we're
show.
We're the talent.
We do the show.
We're the talent. She does a lot of behind the scenes stuff and kind of makes us do stuff, and we're like, wow. It's like having unruly children. So
yes, I mean,
it is.
It's funny, but it's also very true. I mean,
so true.
We came with this idea, Lana and I sat down, we have this idea to do this podcast, and I don't think you were, I don't know when you came into I can't remember when you came into the mix.
She just really, really liked it and was like, I really, really, really want to help, and I'm willing to just do whatever. And we were like, okay.
Yeah, that's true. We
had
mentioned it to her, like we were doing this podcast, and you were the first person I think we told.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, well, let me know anything I can do. But it wasn't even that, Lana. It was the fact that we were like, okay, cool. And I wouldn't say we didn't take you seriously, but it was like, let's just get our feet in the water. And all of a sudden, we're getting emails and
information. And then you try this, boom, 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 and we're like,
yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
She's serious.
Great idea. And Kim has been managing our Facebook. She's been handling a lot of the business side. Albeit we do not have a lot of business.
But you know, it sounds good.
It sounds good.
Business.
We do. And Kim has really helped us out. She's been a great asset to the team.
Team Blerd.
Team Blerd. I mean, she really has. She's always promoting us. She came up with the business cards. I mean, she's done a lot. So the reason.
And you know what? Those business cards were not easy.
Those business cards are not easy, and I put out like 100 of them upstairs at the sales pavilion. So if you grab one, let us know. I hope you QR code it. And so we really want to thank Kimmy. Kim, what's okay? Before you send a shout out, what's your Twitter handle?
Anime23. So
Anime23. Did you guys hear that?
So make sure you follow her. Tweet her and follow her.
Kim.
Hashtag spread the nerd.
Kim. Anything to say in closing?
How do you feel?
I
wish you could see her face.
She's laughing. This is hysterical.
I'm actually blown away. That's really, really nice of you guys. Thank you so much. Because I love working with you guys. Blerds and Nerds is an awesome idea. And so I don't know. It's fun. I'm like having fun. This is all
it's
fun.
the fun part of the life.
I just really appreciate that, guys. It's really. I'm gonna get all. I'm gonna tear up now.
I'm hoarse. I know. But Kim has been like behind the scenes, and I don't think we ever talked about Kim before today. Really, I think we haven't mentioned him once in the podcast. But she is always in the background. I mean, always, she listens to the podcast. She gives us great feedback, and she always has ideas for the future and what we should do next. And I would say she gives us ideas about things that we haven't even thought about that we should be thinking about.
She definitely pushes us to be like, you need to do this now and start this now. So, we need to do this now. You're right. But that's good. It's appreciated.
And it's valuable.
We need to have that.
So that's why we appreciate it. And that's why, Kimberly has at Twitter handle at Anime23 is our Blerd of the week. Yeah. And like Lana said, this is just part one. We thought we could do this in one
Yeah, right.
One podcast.
With our segues? Are you kidding?
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys will learn a lot about Comic-Con throughout the week, but I hope that you love this, and also that you come back again, because next week we'll talk about the rest of Comic-Con. There's so many
really
layers,
Marvel.
Which is really Marvel, and I mean, Lana still has a bunch of stuff to tell. And I wouldn't say about just Marvel, but all of Saturday.
All of Saturday, it was WB, Legendary, Marvel. There's a lot of studios. 20th Century.
So are you?
You guys.
It was the best.
It's one thing because you probably it was the best panel that day. Okay, because I can't. You probably heard it, but
Lana's still telling me stuff about it as we literally before coming up to this podcast. She's still telling me stuff.
Check our Facebook. I checked it. Blerds on Nerds on our Facebook.
Yeah.
Like our Facebook page. I was basically posting live. I was posting pictures live as the things were coming out. I was posting it on the Facebook page. So if you haven't taken a look, take a look at it, and you'll get a little preview of what we're going to talk about next week. But not everything. I posted a lot, but I didn't post everything. So.
Facebook.com/Blerds on Nerds.
See, that's why.
What about the Twitter VP social integration? What about Twitter?
At Blerd Nerd.
She's so awake.
25 minutes later. It's late. It's late. It's late. It really is late on Sunday. I have a flight to catch in the morning. Like early.
We act like it's midnight. It's 11:10, and I'm tired.
Well, Indiana time, it's 3 o'clock in the morning almost. 2 o'clock in the morning. So, like they said, please, like us on. Seriously, please like us on Facebook at Blerds on Nerds, and please follow us on Twitter at Blerd Nerd. As always, continue to spread the nerd. Kim, will you be back next week?
If you want to have me, I will be back.
We'll have to talk about it because I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to talk about it. We might have to go. Oh, and we have some really exciting. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we have some really exciting things coming up for Blerds on Nerds. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
we have some good stuff.
Yay!
We have some good stuff coming.
There was some.
We're about to branch out a little. I'm not going to say nothing. That's all.
I don't know if you can hear this water. I was just like shaking this water. I was really excited. So a lot of things for Blerds on Nerds. A lot of positive things happen for Blerds on Nerds this week, and we're just truly, truly blessed and truly honored that people recognize us. That people recognize our voice. And they're like, that was I know your voice. And it was just the coolest thing. Lana got recognized via her face. And then
I was like, what?
How did you know me? And then I got recognized for my voice. Someone was like, "Are you mad?"
I love it. That's awesome.
And I was like, yeah.
And and it seems like, oh, that's all, but you have to remember, like, we're just
doing
folks
it.
just going to work and stuff every day, and when even one person recognizes you for something that you've done, like in media, even if it's our little podcasts and stuff like that, it's a cool feeling. It's like, wow, somebody besides my family listens to my show,
right? So we really appreciate all the likes, all the retweets, everything. Like we said, continue to spread the nerd, and we will be back along with Kim to wrap up our Comic-Con experience. So we'll talk to you on the next one. All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Good night.